Hello everyone, welcome to Yam Heam Educhemics TV 25. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. So now we're going to tackle about the principles and methods of teaching. We will do the introduction. So first, we need to understand teaching. So what is teaching? First, teaching is one of the most important professions from the standpoint of human welfare. Teaching also is one of the most technical, difficult, and challenging profession. So ngayon pa lang dapat alamin na natin kung para ba talaga tayo dito sa teaching. So another is, it is a vocation, a mission, and a profession. Teaching is a profession that can yield something amazing when right ideas and beliefs are implemented in the classroom. Teaching can also be defined as the process of imparting knowledge, skills, norms, and values into individuals in order to bring a behavioral change in them. So it is not really easy to be a teacher. As a vocation, vocation comes from the Latin word vocare, which means to call. So it means as teachers, we are being called for this profession. It is an occupation to which a person is especially drawn or for which he or she is suited, trained, or qualified. Though now often used in a non-religious context, the meanings of the term originated in Christianity. If there is a call, there must be a caller, and someone is called. For Christians, the caller is God Himself. Next is teaching as a mission. Mission came from the Latin word missio, means to send. Therefore, as teachers, we are called to be a teacher, and you are sent into the world to accomplish an assigned task. Teaching is your mission means it is a task entrusted to you in this world. So you have to prepare yourself for it. Kasi nga ang pagiging guro ay hindi madaling trabaho. Malaki ang ating mission na ginagampanan dito sa mundo. As a profession, professional is one of the most exalted in English language, denoting as it does, long and very difficult years of preparation, a striving for excellence, a dedication to the public interest, and commitment to moral and ethical values. So that is the teaching as a profession. So, do you want to give your life meaning? Do you want to live a purpose-driven life? So, spend it passionately in teaching, the noblest profession. Occupation, practice, or vocation is requiring mastery of a complex set of knowledge and skills through formal education and or practical experience. Every organized profession like accounting, law, medicine, etc. is governed by its respective professional body. Teaching as an art. It is mainly a creative expression of one's intellectual and emotional qualities that are essential in promoting learning. Teaching serves a way of reaching out to the minds and heart of the young, thus help raise upright and passionate citizens. So teachers, we need to be creative. Creative means of solving learning difficulties and ministering to their individual needs and interests make teaching truly a selfless and magnanimous calling. Teaching as science. It is directed towards the development of an acquiring mind in an analytic mode of accepting the truth in what one thinks and does. Teaching consists of systematic procedures and strategies similar to the steps followed in scientific methods. So teachers are expected to be orderly in recording and interpreting facts, inference, and other forms of information. Next, there are teaching requirements. So what are the teaching requirements? First is we have the educational qualification. So before we can teach, we need to accomplish this educational qualification. Therefore, we need to complete a 4 to 5 years curriculum in Bachelor of Elementary Education or BE Ed or Bachelor of Secondary Education or BS Ed. For elementary, a total of 174 units is required, distributed as General Education 63 units, Professional Education 54 units, Specialization is 57 units. For secondary education, a total of 174 units consist of General Education 63 units, Professional Education 51 units, and Specialization 63 units. For preschool, nursery, and kindergarten, a 4-year degree in early childhood education or BECE is required. For tertiary level, a master's or a doctorate degree with specialization is required. And lastly is professional license. Therefore, we need to pass the licensure examination for teachers so that we are qualified to teach. So next is the components of teaching. So what are the components of teaching? First, we have the teacher, the learners, and also the subject matter. These three are the components of teaching. So first, let's discuss about the teacher, the first component. So the teacher should possess competence. The teacher's competence in terms of knowledge and skills possess significantly contribute to the accepting standards and ideals of the teaching profession. As a professional, he or she is expected to be knowledgeable about the subject. So dapat master niya yung subject. Next is that the teacher should possess values and attitudes. The innate values and dispositions he or she possesses are utmost importance in creating winning interactions among students and associates. Example, genuine kindness, creativity in industry, passion and love for teaching, and willingness to expend extra time, effort, and resources. So, the teacher should possess that attributes. Another components of teaching are the learners. So the learners have an ability or capacity to learn or acquire knowledge. Pero ang bawat abilidad ng mga bata ay magkakaiba. Because also, they have their different background knowledge. So the learner's background knowledge about the subject matter may vary also. Kasi mayroon mga estudyante na may background na sila on that subject matter, pero mayroon namang iba na wala pa. Kaya nga mayroon tayong diverse learners. So another is the subject matter. The subject matter has the level of difficulty. The difficult levels for each grade as well as stage of intellectual development are considered in the scope and sequence arrangement of concepts prescribed in curriculum. The time allotment for each topic and subtopics are suggested including the list of reference. The lesson includes the objective, instructional materials needed, teaching methodology, and evaluation. So, yan po yung ating components of teaching. So next is philosophies of education. So there are lots of philosophies of education, but I'm going to tackle only the 5 philosophies of education. So first, let's talk about essentialism by William Bagley. William Bagley believed that education was not supposed to change society but to preserve it. So if we are essentialist teachers, we are here to preserve the society, not to change it. So why teach? This philosophy contends that teachers teach for the learners to acquire basic knowledge, skills, and values. Teachers teach not to radically reshape society, but rather to transmit the traditional moral values and intellectual knowledge that students need to become model citizens. What to teach? Ano nga ba ang itinuturo ng isang essentialist teacher? Essentialist programs are academically rigorous. The emphasis is on academic content for students to learn the basic skills or the fundamental RS, the reading, writing, arithmetic, and right conduct, as these are essential to the acquisition of higher or more complex skills needed in preparation for adult life. How to teach? Paano nagtuturo yung isang essentialist teacher? Essentialist teacher emphasize mastery of subject matter. So, nagpo-focus sila sa subject matter. They are expected to be intellectual and moral models of their students. So, they are the fountain of information and as paragon of virtue. So, next philosophy of education is progressivism by John Dewey. So si John Dewey is the most popular advocate of progressivism. According to him, book learning is not substitute for actual experience. So, naniniwala si John Dewey na natututo yung mga bata through actual experience. So why teach? So anong yung reason bakit nagtuturo ang isang progressivist teacher? Progressivist teacher teach to develop learners into becoming enlightened and intelligent citizens of a democratic society. So what to teach? Ano ang kanyang itinuturo? The progressivists are identified with need-based and relevant curriculum. This is a curriculum that responds to students' need and that relates to students' personal lives and experiences. The subjects that are given emphasis are the natural and social science. So, how to teach? Paano ba nagtuturo ang isang progressivist teacher? Progressivist teachers employ experiential method. So it is learning by doing and problem-solving method. So the students are allowed to do something so that they are able to learn. Okay, so the next philosophy of education is perennialism by Robert Hutchins. According to Robert Hutchins, the purpose of the university is nothing less than to procure a moral, intellectual, and spiritual revolution throughout the world. So why teach? Bakit ba nagtuturo ang isang perennialist teacher? So according to him, we are all rational animals. School should therefore develop the students' rational and moral powers. According to Aristotle, if we neglect the students' reasoning skills, we deprive them of the ability to use the higher faculties to control their passions and appetites. So the students are allowed to give reasons and explain themselves. So what to teach? Ano ba ang tinuturo ng isang perennialist teacher? So the perennialist curriculum is a universal one or general one. It is heavy on the humanities on general education. So how the perennialist teachers teach? The perennialist classrooms are centered around teachers. So it is a teacher-centered method. Perennialist teachers teach from great books. So nagtuturo yung isang perennialist teacher galing sa mga aklat. So they are focusing on the content of the books. So next is existentialism by Jean-Paul Sartre. He stated that existence precedes essence. Therefore, we exist in this world because we have our individual essence. So why teach? Bakit ba nagtuturo ang isang existentialist teacher? The main concern of the existentialist is to help students understand and appreciate themselves as unique individuals who accept complete responsibility for their thoughts, feelings, and actions. So the teachers are there to help them understand themselves. So what to teach? In an existentialist curriculum, students are given a wide variety of options from which to choose. So how to teach? Existentialist methods focus on the individual. So ito naman yung ating tinatawag na student-centered method. So learning is self-paced, self-directed. So natututo yung ating mga estudyante sa kanilang sariling pamamaraan. It includes a great deal of individual contact with the teachers who relates to its student openly and honestly. So yun po yung sa existentialism. Next is behaviorism by John B. Watson. So why teach? Bakit nga ba nagtuturo ang isang behaviorist teacher? Behaviorist schools are concerned with the modification and shaping of students' behavior by providing for a favorable environment, since they believe that they are a product of their environment. They are after students who exhibit desirable behavior in the society. So what to teach? Ano nga ba ang itinuturo ng isang behaviorist teacher? Behaviorist teachers teach students to respond favorably to various stimuli in the environment. As we know that nurture has a greater impact than the nature of the student. So how to teach? Behaviorist teachers ought to arrange environmental conditions so that students can make the responses to stimuli. So yan po yung ating 5 educational philosophies. We are able to know the why, what, and how the teacher teaches. So next is the foundational principles of morality and you. So now, alamin naman natin kung ano ba tayo as teachers in our foundational principles of morality. So even in your worst day on the job, you are still some children's best hope. Kaya nga, kahit anong hirap man yung ating nararanasan in this profession, isipin natin na marami pa rin mga bata ang umaasa sa atin. A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. So, hindi natin masasabi kung kailan hihinto yung ating influence sa mga kabataan. So, next is, what is morality? Ano nga ba yung morality? As defined by a textbook author, morality refers to the quality of human acts, which we call them right or wrong, good or evil. Your human action is right when it conforms to the norms, rule, or law of morality. A man's action, habit, or character is good when it is lacking of what is natural to man or when it is accordance with man's nature. What is foundational moral principles. So ano nga ba itong foundational moral principles? Principle comes from the Latin word principes, which means a beginning or a source. A principle is that on which something is based, founded, originated, and initiated. Foundational moral principle is the universal norm upon which all other principles on the rightness or wrongness of an action are based. So, dito nakabase yung lahat ng other principles. So, where is this foundational moral principle? Saan ba natin ito makikita, itong foundational moral principle? So, it is contained in the natural law. It is the law written in the hearts of men, according to Romans chapter 2, verse 15. It is man's share in the eternal law of God. So, according to St. Thomas, he defines it as the light of natural reason, whereby we discern what is good and what is evil, an imprint on us of the divine light. So, through this, we are able to know what is right and wrong. So, it is the law says, do good and avoid evil. We are inclined to do what we recognize as good and avoid that which we recognize as evil. So, alam natin kung ano yung tama at mali. So, ano yung dapat gawin at hindi dapat gawin. Next is the teacher as a person of good moral character. So, paano ba natin masasabi that the teacher has a good moral character? As laid down in the preamble of our Code of Ethics of Professional Teachers, teachers are duly licensed professionals who possess dignity and reputation with high moral values as well as technical and professional competence. So, dyan natin masasabi that a teacher has a good moral character. If she or he follows the Code of Ethics of Professional Teachers. So, when are you of good moral character as teacher? So, kailan ba natin masasabi that we have a good moral character? First is being fully human. You have realized substantially your potential as a human person. So, dapat kilala natin yung ating sarili. Next is being a loving person. You are caring in a unselfish and mature manner with yourself, other people, and God. Next is being a virtuous person. You have acquired good habits and attitudes and you practice them consistently in your daily life. And lastly, being a morally mature person. It means you have reached a level of development emotionally, socially, mentally, spiritually, if appropriate to your developmental stage. So, dyan pa natin masasabi that we have a good moral character as teachers if we possess those different characteristics. So, that's our introduction for our principles and methods of teaching. I hope that you have learned something from it. So, always remember that teaching is the profession that teaches all of the other professions. So, be proud you are a teacher. The future depends on you.
Till I ain't no more gone.